When we found out she was being abused, it was exactly 2 months after this last message. After this message, I didn't really send any more messages because I remember one of the things that I've done, I continued to do what I was doing, as far as keeping her late, calling her every day. But one of the things that I've done was I prayed to God and I said, God, I don't know what's happening to my baby girl. I don't know what's happening to her, but I did everything that I could do. There's nothing more that I can do. I've been keeping her late, dropping her off late. I've been communicating with her mom about this. I I don't know what else to do. Please, please protect my baby girl. Please show me what is happening to her. And 2 months later, my baby girl so after asking God to please show me what is happening to my baby girl, please protect her. Please, you know, just praying and asking God, like, God, this is out of my control. Please help us. Please help me to figure out what is happening so I can help her. So 2 months later, Sadia's mom sends me a message saying Sadia was trying to get her to perform oral sex on her while she was sitting on the bed at the maternal grandmother's house where the maternal aunt resides. So this was a message 2 months after my last concerning text message. 2 months later, Sadia's mom messaged me October 28th, 2020. David, Sadia is saying something to me about chin, pointed to my chin, and then saying patty cake. What does that mean? Why would she be talking about a chin and then her private parts? She never said anything to me like that before, so I'm confused and concerned. I said, call me. Now, I really wish I would have recorded these few conversations that we had. Out of the entire year, we only had a few conversations on the phone when it was, urgent. We really had to, discuss something, you know, and this was this month right here in October. This was the only month we had, I would say, 4 phone calls regarding this incident, and I really wish I had recorded them because mom was on my side. Mom was on my side at first. We were doing what we were doing what parents should do, and we were working together to, figure out, what had happened. So when she said when she said when I texted her, call me, and that was October 28th at 9:25 p.m. And she called me, and I'm just like, what do you think that I've been trying to tell you? So at first, my brain was like in denial. I'm just going back and forth. And I said, well, look, I told her to get 2 Barbie dolls and just see what she does. Like, to tell her to do it again and see what she's trying to tell you. And so she goes home and she does the Barbie doll experiment. Was doing sexual things with the Barbie dolls now. You know, maybe I'm like, maybe she's seen something on like, Jasmine's computer or something, like some type of porn or something like that. Maybe she just and her mom, she told me, she said, no, Dave, I work with autistic children, I work with special needs children. Somebody showed her these things. So I'm just like, I'm just like trying, I'm just praying that this is not the case. Like my daughter was being sexually abused and screaming and crying and begging me not to send her to this place. And I continue to send her there. So going forward, now me and mom, we're on the same side. We're investigating this entire thing together. My first day to pick her up after, all this stuff transpired was on um, October 30th. I said, do you think I can pick her up as soon as you get to Wilkes-Barre? She said, yeah. She said, yeah, I'll be there exactly at 3 p.m. I'm not leaving her, so we will be in the car waiting. So at 3 p.m., I pick Sadia up. I take Sadia straight to my house, to my mom's house, where where I was living. Whenever I had Sadia, I stay there. I would stay there. A lot of times when I didn't have Sadia, I would be, I had another place that I also lived at the time. I picked Sadia up at 3 p.m. On October 30th at 3:29 p.m. I sent her mom a video. The video, I pretty much had pictures of, the people that Sadia is around the most, and I had pictures of Jasmine, the main person in question, um, her mom, and her dad, and I had a bunch of other pictures, but these three specific pictures, trying to figure out which one of these people have been sexually abusing my daughter. I showed her the pictures. I have the pictures all out. And I said, Didi, who showed you that? Chin patty cake. And mind you, patty cake is something that her mom always referred to as a private area. I mean, I don't know why she calls it patty cake, but that's just what she calls it. I said, Sadia, who showed you chin patty cake? And Sadia, at this time, all this is coming out. She seems to be under a lot of pressure and under a lot of stress because she can tell that something is wrong. My baby girl, she's far from stupid. She knows something's wrong. She knows that we are figuring out what has been happening to her. And she is so smart. She's the one that's technically exposed her by trying to perform this in front of other adults in the room as if it was a normal thing. She's just like, if we can do this behind closed, she can't talk, but the way that she did that in front the way that she did that in front of her maternal grandmother and in front of her mother while Jasmine was right there, this was her way of saying, okay, well, we can do this when they're not here. Let's do it when they're here and see what they think about it. That's how smart my baby really is. And I'm not saying that it was, I mean, I did ask God, I prayed God to show me what has been happening to my daughter. And kind of like God worked through Sadia and said, okay, Sadia, it's time to show what has been happening to you. And Sadia, I mean, at this time, she was viewing this type of behavior and this type of abuse that she was subjected to and traumatized by it appeared she started to enjoy it in a sense. So I recorded a video, and Sadia pointed out Jasmine as being the one who showed her this type of behavior. I've always communicated with my daughter through body language, tone of voice, facial expression, etc. So when she picks up the picture, she stares at the picture and she makes some really strange looking faces. And then she throws the picture down really fast as if it's like hot or something. And I knew right then and there that girl had did something to my child. And it's not just based off of a video. As Judge Toohill would say, I'm relying on one video. It's not just based off of a video. This is years of text messaging and worried about my concern when she's being left with this person. This was years. So when she did that, I was even more convinced. Now, going down the line further, and I'm going to explain this and then I'm going to show both of the videos. That video was taken October 30th, a few days after we found out what was happening. Mom ends up turning on me. I would say a couple days to a week after this video. She pretty much starts trying to protect her sister. So I'm just like, whatever, I understand this is hard for you. This is hard for you. Like, you're dealing with two battles right now. I know you didn't know this is what happened. I know you didn't intentionally, I mean, I don't know if something happened to you as a child or what you guys have going on within that family. I don't know that much. But I do know that you do love her enough that you wouldn't allow this to happen to her and then be pretending in the messages you don't know what's going on. You know, even the way that you came forward and said Sadia is doing this. I mean, I'm so grateful that she did come forward and not just keep that part from me, because it would have been an even bigger mess.